Alright, welcome back to Toon Boom animation class. So in this class we are going to learn how to design a character. In the last class we learned how to navigate around the Toon Boom workspace. We learned about some of the tools and what they are used for. We also learned about the brush, the difference between the brush and the pencil tool, how to draw with them, how to manipulate them, how to edit them. We learned about all those things in the last class. So in this class we are going to talk about how to design a character from start to finish. And I am not going to be fast forwarding this video. I'm going to be doing everything from start to finish so that you'll be able to see everything and also follow along. And also these videos will help you to get better at your animation skills. Alright, so if you want to have access to the file or the sketch file that I'm going to use in this video, you can beat me, or you can send me a message so that I will give you a link to where you can download those files. Alright, so remember, if you want to design your own character and you don't know how to use Photoshop, remember also I have a class, a video where I talked about how to design characters in Photoshop from start to finish. And this one of these characters I'm going to import, we designed them in Photoshop from start to finish. So after going through those videos, I believe that you have the skill and the knowledge you need for you to start designing your own character in Photoshop. But if you cannot do that yet, you can just draw your character on paper, then snap it with your phone, import it into the computer to a folder, then navigate through those folders using your Toon Boom and import that file and use it inside Toon Boom to design your character. So we are going to see how to import an image that we are going to start designing. Alright, so you go to File, Import Images. Alright, so when you go to File, Import Images, you browse to where the folder, where the image is saved. So I'll go to Browse and I'll search for the image, which is a JPEG. So this is the image I want to import, character design. So you click on Open. When you click on that, I want us to talk about some few things that you need to make sure that they are okay before you can go ahead and import. Alright, so for after you click on that file, you have to make sure that this create layer or create layer single layer name character design is checked, because it will help us to create a brand new layer for this character that this character will be in. You can also say add to existing layer, but what if this is the existing layer, which is this drawing layer we have here, but what if there is a drawing already on this layer and you click on add to existing layer? It will now add this image to this layer that already contains an artwork, and this is not what we want. Alright, so we want to create a brand new layer for this artwork that we are going to import. Alright, so we also make sure you check these vectorized imported items, because there is a difference between vector and raster. Vector doesn't lose its quality or resolution no matter how you zoom it in or how you scale the artwork, but raster loses its quality and it starts to become blurry and pixelated when you start zooming it in or when you start scaling it up, way up. But no matter how you scale a vectorized item or a vectorized artwork, it's not going to lose its quality. Alright, so that's why we have to check this, so it will convert that raster image to vector, so that it will give us the flexibility in order to scale it up or scale it down or zoom it in without losing any quality. So after checking all these things, you make sure that this one vectorization is on color, because when you have an image with the color on the image, if you check color, it's going to import everything, both the image and the color on that image. But if you check black and white, it's going to convert that image to grayscale and import it in black and white. But if you check gray, everything will be in gray. There will be no white, there will be no black, only gray, just like the color of this our canvas right here. Right, so we check on color, although the image I'm going to import doesn't have any color, it's just a sketch, but I'm just showing you in case you have an image with a color already on it that you want to import. So you say color and you click on OK. All right, so our image has been imported. I want to scale this image down. I think it's a little bit big. Even though we can just start designing this character out of here, you can start designing this character anywhere you want to start designing the character. Okay, but I want to scale it down a little bit so it will be a little bit easier for us to design. Okay, although it's also easy for us to design it how we want. Okay, now we talked about the tools, the toolbar, which is this place. We have the drawing, the coloring, and the manipulation toolbars. All right, we say they are from here to here, and we have the animation toolbars. They are from this morphing tool to onion skin. But onion skin can also be used in drawing mode. Okay, it has a dual functionality. Now the onion skinning will allow us to see the previous frames or next frames of our drawing, so that will help us to know the particular drawing that we are supposed to do on a particular frame, taking the previous frame or the next frame as reference. We'll see more about this as we go on. Okay, so I have imported my character. So this is the layer for the character. This one is a drawing layer. So another layer that I have not renamed. So this is the character design layer, having the sketch, this sketch. Okay, I want to scale this thing way down. All right, so I want to scale it down so it can fit into this canvas. So the way I do that is either I use the selection tool and select the whole thing and start scaling it down. Okay, or I can use my animation tool, in which case if I try to scale it down with my animation tool or manipulate or move it or do anything, even if I try to rotate, it will create a keyframe. Let me show you what I mean. If I rotate, now look here, there is nothing like a square dot here, but if I try to move this in anyway, you will see that something that looks like a square black dot will appear. These are called keyframes. Now the computer is taking note that there has been a change in this artwork here. If I make a little change, it's going to add a keyframe, and this keyframe is what will help us to know how this artwork will be animated. In fact, it's what helps this artwork to be animated. All right, so let me show you what I mean. Now, if for example, remember I said that each of these frames represents a page in a notebook, and if you want to see the frame that you are on, you check it up here. Okay, so I'm currently frame 30. I want to extend this frame to cover up to frame 30, or the last frame, which is frame 60. Okay, so it's just like having the same drawing in 60 pages of a book. That is what it means. The same thing as having a single drawing. Instead of having multiple drawings from page 1 to 60, now I want to have just one drawing from page 1 to 60. That is from frame 1 to frame 60. So how do we do that? We do that by extending exposure. Extending exposure. To extend exposure, you either right click, you either highlight the frame you want to extend to. I want to extend to up to 60. You click on that frame 60. Remember, I'm still on my character design, not on my drawing layer. I want to extend the frame of the character design to 60. Okay, so you click on that particular last frame you want to extend it to, then you right click. Okay, so you go to extend exposure, you click on it, and need to extend that drawing up to 60 pages. Now there is a shortcut for this, which is, I think, in my own opinion, better. Like I said, shortcut is the best and is the shortest way to get things done easier and faster. All right, so let's undo by pressing Ctrl Z. Okay, so I want to use a shortcut. So if I click on the frame, make sure you click it and it's highlighted in blue. If I want to extend this exposure, I'll simply click the button F5. So I've clicked F5 and it has extended my frame to 60, my drawing to 60. So this drawing now covers 60 pages or 60 frames instead of one frame per drawing, one drawing per frame, one drawing per frame. Okay, so I want to show you what this keyframe is all about. I'm in frame 1 right now. Now if I kind of like maybe scale this thing down in frame 1, it will add a keyframe, which is this blue black dot here. Now if I moved up to frame 60 and I scale it up, maybe up, it will add another keyframe. Now there is a line that is running from that first keyframe to the last keyframe. this line is interpolating the motion, the animation. It is interpolating between this first frame, this first keyframe and the last keyframe, so that there will be something that looks like an animation. So if I start scrolling with my slide bar, if I start sliding through the frames, it will look like this character is scaling up. If I even play it, it will look like this character is scaling up, and it's a simple animation. I've animated this drawing. I've animated it like play, of course. So if you look, you can see that this character has been animated from frame 1 to frame 60 by simply using this transform tool. This transform tool is an animation tool. So when you use it and try to use it to scale or rotate or even turn it around or do it skew, it will add a keyframe to it. Now let me show you another thing. Now if I rotate this character like this and I go to the last frame and also rotate it this way and I play it, it's going to rotate exactly what I did. Okay, all right. So this is how this character, or this is one of the ways how animation can be done in Toon Boom Harmony. So I want to use my select tool, not my transform tool, because my transform tool will end up animating, adding a keyframe, which is not what I want yet. Okay, to end up adding a keyframe to this character, and I don't want that yet. So I want to use my selection tool. When you use your selection tool to manipulate a drawing or artwork or a character, it's not going to add any keyframe. Okay, so your selection tool is part of your drawing tools, and drawing tools doesn't have anything to do with adding keyframe. They don't add keyframe. Okay, it's only when you start seeing keyframe is when you start using any of these animation tools right here. Okay, now I want to scale this thing a little bit down. Okay, with my selection tool. All right, so I think I'm okay with this. So let's start designing this character. We can either use the drawing view to start designing this character, or we can continue doing that in our camera view. But I actually prefer doing this in the drawing view, although of course you can do it in your camera view, of course. So if I enter into my drawing view, I'll have to create layers to represent each part of this character, because remember, what we are talking about in this lesson is cutout animation, cutout, by which you move the character like a puppet. So for you to create a cutout, you have to create different parts of the body in their own layers to be moving separately. Like the head, the face should be on a separate layer, the two arms should be on their own separate layer, the hand should be on its own separate layer, even the lower arm and every other thing, and so on and so forth. Okay, so I'll start designing my character. I will go to my first layer. Now if you move out from the layer your character design is on and move to another layer that doesn't have any drawing on it, you will notice that you cannot see, hey, I cannot see my drawing again. Now if you want to see through the drawing, just like a light table, just like seeing something in the previous page or in the book below, you want to see the content of books that are piled up, but you are not in that particular book. Of course it's not possible, but in animation it's possible and it can be done. So let's see how we are going to do that. So you turn on what we call light table, this icon that looks like a bulb, shining bulb. You turn it on, and when you turn it on, you are able to see other layers that you are not currently on in a faded form or in a transparent form. As you can see, I'm not currently in character design layer, but I can see the content of that character design layer because I switched on my light table. But if I go there, you can see that everything is now very opaque because I am actually in my character design layer. But if I move out from there, I'll no longer see that character design 100% because I'm no longer there. But because of the help of this light table, I'm able to see a little bit of it. If I switch it off again, you will see it. If I switch it on, you can see it. All right, so let's start with designing the head. Okay, now I have to create multiple layers, of course, for each of these parts of the body. Now if you are creating your character, you can either use pencil, brush, anyone you will choose to use between these two, and use a combination of them, of both, to just create your characters. Okay, so looking at this character, maybe I might want to create a separate layer for the cap. So I might call this face, call this cap. Now if you want to rename your layer, just click on the writing on the layer itself and click it again once it's highlighted in blue to be able to change it. But if you want to change it another way, just don't click on the name on the writing itself, just move aside and click in an empty space close to it, just double click on it and it will bring up the layer properties. Now you can see the name. You can now change the name by deleting the previous name, the current name. Now I want to name this one ear. Okay, so this one is going to be ear layer. Okay, so we continue. Let's just create the face. So we are on the face layer. We go to the first frame, okay, the first page of the face. I want to use my brush tool to create this. You can use your pencil tool. No, I want to use my pencil tool actually, because I would like to do some little changes, some little modifications after creating this. So I can start. Oops, I'm in my red ink. Okay, so I will switch back to my black. So I can start creating this. I think this the size of this pen is much, right? So let's decrease it to 10. You can still leave your own at 20 if you want to. So because of the fact that this drawing that I'm creating now, the cap will cover it, I might decide to not be super accurate with the head, because since the cap is still going to cover this, I am going to compromise over there. Then when I start coming towards this place, I can now try to match it up with the face. To rotate your canvas, just use Ctrl Alt. You will see this symbol right here. Then you can now use your mouse or your graphic tablet to rotate by moving around with it, still holding Ctrl and Alt. If you want to return back to your default rotation position, just use Shift X. Okay, Shift X. All right, you rotate so that you can be able to match up your drawing more accurately. Okay. Okay, so I will continue designing this face to match up. Continue designing this face to match up. If it doesn't match up, I will still, of course, I will still use my contour editor. You will see the reason why that contour editor was very important to learn or to know how to use, because after this I will show you how to better position this face. Okay, so I've just drawn my face. I can now go to my contour editor, swipe across it to see it very well. But before that, let me go to my selection, select everything and go to merge pencil lines. When I merge the pencil line so that every pencil line will be merged, then I go to my contour and try to match it up. I can delete some contours that are not necessary, especially those ones that I can delete without changing the shape of the artwork. Maybe contours that are very close together like these ones. So if you start moving your Bezier handles of each of your contours, you can actually start modifying the shape of this character for you to get what you want. So I'll continue modifying this character here. I'll continue modifying this character until I get what I think is the right shape of the head. So for studios that create cartoons, this is exactly what they do. they take their time to design their characters and make sure that their characters are well designed before moving ahead with rigging, then animating the character. Now this place there is a little opening. For you to be able to close it up, I can use my pencil editor by going to the contour editor tool and holding it down, pressing and holding so that you'll be able to go to your pencil editor. I click on it. I can click on this side and try to see whether I can rectify this issue here. If I cannot rectify with my contour pencil editor, I can go back to my contour and try and see whether I can rectify with that. Yeah, a little bit more. Okay, I think this is okay, sure. Let's leave it that way. But you can continue doing something like that until you get exactly what you want, because sometimes the pencil tool can give you a little problem or can give cause headache for you, but as you continue to master how to use it, you get better at it. So let's continue so that we'll not waste our time. So since this one will appear inside, will be inside the cap, no need of modify the head like that. So we are now through with the face. All right, we are now through with creating the face. The face is just this circle in its own layer. You go to the cap. Maybe let me use my brush to this time around. So we go to the cap and start drawing cap. Let's decrease this into 10 because these brush lines are very thick, too thick. So we go to the cap and start drawing in the cap. You can turn it and draw. My smoothness is at 0. I want it to increase at 3 at least. I'll be able to have a little smooth lines here. Okay, so I'll continue to draw my cap. Remember, the cap is going to cover the head, so I want us to draw it well. Okay, I think this should be okay. So you can come here, and maybe do something like this. Don't worry about the ear, because the ear is going to be on top of both the cap and the face, so it's going to cover this part of the cap. All right, just like stacking layers on top of each other, or stacking books on top of each other. The book that is above is the book that you're going to see first before you see other books. All right, so I'll create these lines. I'll make the lines a little bit thinner. So that I can be able to put some colors there. Of course, I can put colors in this cap without making drawing these lines, but according to the cap that we are trying to design, I think there are black outlines in those caps. Or you can just use your imagination and design this cap the way you want, but I want to design my own this way. I want to put these lines in the cap. So, and also there's another thing. When you are using your brush tool, when you are drawing a brush tool, after doing each drawing with your brush tool, you have to merge the pencil lines, so that when you want to select the whole artwork in that layer, instead of just moving your lasso all around, you have to select everything before you can select everything. If I select just this like this and I try to move, it will not move everything. Some of these artworks will be there, and that is not what we want. We want to be able to just select a part of this drawing and every other part will be selected. So you have to, the only way you can do this is by merging pencil lines, brush lines, sorry. You can also merge pencil lines, but merging brush lines is the best, and it works best using brush 2. Okay, so I want to merge all these lines. You first of all highlight all of them. Okay, now you look for the icon for merge pencil lines. Okay, or flatten, sorry, not merge, flatten. So I think flatten should be this. So if I click on flatten, it will flatten it. You see what happened? But sometimes when you click on flatten, it might not end up merging all the lines. You might still need to go to drawing, optimize, and what? Remove extra strokes before it can work perfectly well. Now if I try to select, it will move, it will select everything except those artwork that is not touching. That is not touching with other parts that were merged. These two are not touching with this and this. But if you look at this third one, it is touching with this. So that is why it was able to merge with the other ones apart from this. Okay, but there is a shortcut for this. Instead of going through this process of flattening, then also removing extra strokes, which can be tedious sometimes, like I said, shortcut always is the best. So I can simply do this. Select all of them and use the shortcut key Ctrl Shift F. Okay, Ctrl Shift F. Now when you use Ctrl Shift F, it's going to do the same thing, both flatten and removing extra strokes. So immediately I can flatten and remove extra strokes using Ctrl Shift F instead of clicking on this symbol or going there to find the flatten, then removing extra strokes again, going back there and removing extra stroke, which can be a tedious process. There's something that I forgot. Let me go back to the face and switch my pencil to and draw in the hair. Okay, can draw in the hair like this. All right, and I can just finish drawing it this way. Okay, now there's a trick. If you want to swipe, some of you might be wondering, why is this thing like this? It's not supposed to be like this. So I'm going to use this tool, cutout tool. You can see why cutout tool is wonderful. If you are on your cutout tool and if you are not able to swipe just this way, just make sure that this symbol is on. Use mouse gesture cutout mode. Okay, and make sure it's on lasso instead of marquee. Make sure it's on lasso and make sure this is checked on. Now you can just swipe across. Let me do it again. Just swipe across like this to remove this extra line here. I can come in here and swipe across. Okay, all right, so to remove these extra lines here, I can come here to swipe across and to swipe across. Okay, so I think we are through with the face. We can also go to select, highlight everything and try to merge pencil lines. Okay, and I think it's looking nice right now. Okay, so we are through with our face, our cap. Now let's do our ear. We can use our brush to design our ear. Remember that I'm tracing this new art from our character design sketch. Okay, I'm tracing this art from what? Our character design sketch. I'm trying to get this ear well. Okay, all right, I think this should do it. Now remember, when you are drawing and the lines are not closed, like I told you before, like these lines are not closed and we cannot close it or the ear will look weird. All right, so you remember we talked about stroke, so we can use stroke to close this line. We cannot see our stroke even if we draw it. If we draw it and release, you are not able to see it, but it's there. Remember the shortcut K. All right, so when you use K as a shortcut, you can see the stroke that we just drew. So I'll draw these strokes again and show you something. I'll draw from here to here. Now watch closely. You can see that the contour of this stroke is not closed. You can see that it's not closed by the color of it. It is yellow. Whenever the color of a contour is yellow, that means that it is not touching with another line. Okay, so we need to make sure that this stroke touches another line, okay, or make sure that it is close, it is touching this line work here. So we can go to our contour editor and switch on the snap, okay, snap to contour. All right, snap to contour. All right, so we can now move close to this contour and start dragging it close to this area. It will snap like a magnet once it detects a line, okay, an ink. You snap, and when you leave it, you can see that it changes from yellow to blue. Blue shows that it is now connected somewhere. Let's do the same thing here and connect it to this. Sure you understand now. Okay, now we are through with our ear. All right, okay, so we can also continue to design other layers. So let us create the eyebrows. Let us call this brow left, okay, and brow underscore left, sorry, brow underscore is okay, brow underscore left, and brow underscore, okay, brow underscore right. Don't mind me, this thing is misbehaving to some extent. Okay, so brow underscore left, we can just draw something to represent a brow here. Since this thing is a cartoon, and just draw something like this in the left. Then we can now copy by selecting Ctrl C, then go to the right and paste Ctrl V, then rotate it, as in flip it horizontal by going to the two properties of the selection and clicking on this flip button to flip it, then move it over to this side to create the two brows. Okay, so the next thing is the eye. Now we are going to create multiple eyes. All right, we are going to create a left eye and a right eye, and we're going to create different drawings of the eyes, both the one that is open and when it is trying to close. So for the first one, let's just draw a simple circle like this. Let us make it a little bit straight. Okay, so maybe something like this. You can draw something like that, and let us position it well, and make sure that your snap is turned off whenever you are moving your artwork, or it will start snapping to different pixels of artworks. Okay, you just start snapping, magneting itself anyhow, which is not what we want. The only time you use that snap to contour is when we want to snap two contours together, two or more contours together. All right, so we have created the first eye. So we need to create another eye for the right. But before we do that, let us create multiple versions of this eye when it is trying to close. So remember this is the first page of this layer, eye left layer. We can go to the next page, okay, the next page this way, and for us to see the previous drawing that we created in this layer, we need to switch on our onion skin. If I switch it on, you can see that this red outline shows us this drawing in the previous frame or the previous page. So this drawing in the previous page is what is showing this outline, but the drawing is not on this page 2. The page 2 is still empty. So we are going to use this drawing and create another drawing in this page. Okay, so how do we do that? We can kind of like come here, copy this, Ctrl C, select and copy, Ctrl C, and go to page 2 and do a Ctrl V. Now we can start modifying this part. We can just draw something like this and something like this, and use our cutter tool and cut and cut. Then we can go to select and select everything and do our what? Flatten by using Ctrl Shift F. All right. using our Control Shift F, and let us continue to swipe. Okay, let's undo this and continue swiping, or create something like this. Or okay, let us leave it this way, right? Or we can just not leave it that way and decide to, depending on how you want the design of your character, maybe the eye to be, but maybe let us leave the eye this way. So the eye is now starting to close, just like this. You can now go further and also paste this frame 1 here and use our brush, and using this onion skin, we can see the previous drawing here. We can now bring this thing down, further down like this, to show that the eye is now starting to close. We can now use our cutout tool as usual and swipe, then use our selection to select everything and do Control Shift F to flatten again. And as you can see that the eye is starting to close, right? Okay, so the last one should be this. Then use your brush and just draw in between those two openings from the previous drawing. Okay, so you swipe and swipe, then use your selection tool as usual and Control Shift F. Alright, so this eye has closed entirely, as you can see. Okay, as you can see, it's closed entirely, but they are just different drawing on different pages of a book. The book is eye left, and the pages are this eye trying to close until it closes. Okay, so we can now easily copy this layer to the eye right. So this drawing, we can name it eye underscore right. Okay, then we can just copy, select this eye left, Control C, go to eye right, Control V, and move it over. You don't need to kind of like flip it, because circle is circle no matter where it is. So we can flip it over and scale this one down. Okay, because it is closer to the edges of the face. So we can also go to the page 2 of eye left and also do the same copy and go to the page 2 of eye right and paste. Then you can now flip this over, or should we leave it that way? Okay, flip it over and move it in to match up with the first page, then move it up to match up with the first page. Okay, matching up a little bit. Okay, we can continue copying and pasting. We can copy the third drawing from the eye left, as in the third drawing on the third page of the eye left, and go to the third page of eye right and paste. Then we and also flip, move it over, scale it down to match up with the previous drawings in the same layer or book, that is eye right. Then we can do it for the last one, which is the page 4 of eye left. Then copy, go to page 4 of eye right, paste, flip and move, then scale down to match it up with the other previous pages of eye right. Okay, then I think we are through with our eyes, two eyes, both the left and the right. So now you can see that these pages or these books are only on one page, only one page, as you can see, one page, but we can extend it to cover the whole pages, just like we did for character design. So they will cover the whole pages, but with time we'll see how to do that. But it's very simple if you use the same method that we use for character design to do each of them, or we can do all of them at once when the time comes. So let's continue designing or creating our layers. So we can create more layers. You can just click on any of the layers that we already have and click on the more layer icon, because we need more layers. So we can start creating our nose. call this nose, and we can start creating our nose from here. So the nose is going to be above this eye. Okay, the nose is going to be above this eye. So that is why I have to draw it this way. So it's going to be above this eye, and it's going to be covered so that the color will blend in with the skin. Okay, so I will be able to paint here, because if I don't cover it, of course you know that you have to cover this artwork for the color to work, to paint inside the line art of the work. Okay, do you understand? I believe so. So we can continue designing. We can create our mouth. Now for the mouth is going to have different drawings on different pages. And let us just start with the first one here, which is when the character is smiling. So we are supposed to also have different drawings of different mouth shapes, maybe R, E, M, Z. Okay, so we are going to be drawing different mouth shapes for this mouth, but let us just draw this one for now and leave it there. So we go to the next drawing layer and name this one neck. So we can draw our neck. Okay, can draw our neck, and also use our stroke and cover here. We can use it to cover here if you want to, or you can just draw, because this part will not be seen because the head will cover this part. So you can see that this is not closing right here. It's this stroke line or contour is not connecting with this line here. So you can put on your snap to contour and just move it close and snap it to this line art here. Okay, to close it up, so I can be able to paint inside this neck. Okay, so the next one we are going to do is what? Let's see, the left arm, I believe. So we can do upper arm left, upper arm left. Okay, so you can come start creating this upper arm left. Okay, so let's see how we're going to create this, because this character is wearing a singlet. Okay, so we can, let's see. Okay, so we can actually maybe start creating this character from here, this upper arm from here and from here. Okay, and maybe close it up from here. Okay, maybe close it up from there. Also, we can close this up. I'll show you the reason why we're closing this up. So after drawing this one, we can just select everything and do our normal Ctrl Shift F to flatten and combine all the lines on the artwork. So this is the upper arm left. We can go ahead and create the lower arm left. Remember to always name your layer so that you know the particular artwork in that particular layer. So we can go ahead and start creating our lower arm left. We can rotate our canvas to get a better view. Okay, all right, so I can come here and close it up like this. Then I can come here and use my stroke to cover this part up, because we want this lower arm to blend in with the upper arm. We don't want it to have a thick line like this, because it will be awkward if it does. So we can use our contour snap on and connect these lines together, the contour with this line together. Okay, all right, so we can go ahead and create our left hand. Okay, and draw it in. Okay, I'm trying to see whether what I want. Remember, the hand might not be this way. In fact, this hand is not looking realisable because this character is a cartoon character, so we are going to leave it that way. But if you are designing your own characters, you can create better looking characters that are realistic. I forgot to merge my pencil lines for this layer, so I went back to lower arm left to merge the lines, and I'll go back again to my hand right. Now also use my stroke here so that this hand will blend in with the lower arm. So let me bring this one up a little bit. Now when you are using your stroke, let me undo. When you are using your stroke, make sure that the stroke is not running over another artwork line, another line of another layer. Like this stroke right here is running over this line for the lower arm left. And if I decide to use color here, the color is going to cover this line work, and it will make this character look awkward, which is not what we want. So make sure that when you are using your stroke, that you make sure that the lines, the stroke is not covering the line art of another layer. So let me move this line art a little bit closer so that this stroke will no longer cover the line art of the lower arm left. So I'm through with designing the left arm, both the upper left arm, the lower left arm, and the hand left. So all I can do now is, because of the fact that this arm is identical with this arm, I can just copy and paste. So let me create 3 more layers. Call this, let me copy and paste this name, then remove this and call it right. So let me copy this art on my upper arm left, Ctrl C, and paste it in the new layer that I just created, upper arm right, Ctrl V. Then I can also flip it with this symbol icon here, with this button. When you are on your select and you selected the art, you can use this button to flip, then you can move it over. All right, then do the same thing for the lower arm left. Okay, so I'll name this, okay, I'll copy lower arm left, Ctrl V, and change this to RGT, that is right. Then copy the lower arm left artwork, Ctrl C, and come to lower arm left right, lower arm right, Ctrl V, then flip. Okay, do the same thing for the arm, the hand. So I'll name this hand, I'll copy, Ctrl C, Ctrl V, then remove the left and put RGT. Then copy the left hand, Ctrl C, and come to the right hand, Ctrl V, and paste. Then I forgot to also merge pencil lines, brush lines, as you can see here. Ctrl Shift F. If I now do Ctrl C, then come to my right hand, Ctrl V, paste, flip, move it over. Okay. If you hold shift by moving over it, you move over in straight lines. All right. So I'm through creating my 2 arms. So the next thing to do is what? To create the torso. I'll create another layer. I'll call it torso. Sorry, torso. Okay, now I want to use my pencil tool for this layer so that I'll be able to modify it in case I don't get what I want. I can actually use my what is it called, ellipse tool, so I can be able to draw circle. I think circle will be nice. So let me make sure that the thickness of these lines of this circle are matching up with the thickness of the other art layers. So I think they are not that matching well. So I can go to the settings and maybe change this one to 5. Let me undo first. Change this one to 5 and try it out. I think it's now a little bit small. I can change it to 8. Almost. I can change it to 7. Let's see 7. What 7 can do. Okay, nice. All right. So we now create circle. Let's try and create it somewhere here. Okay, now when we have created this circle, we can now make use of our contour and start bringing it up, start modifying it the way they are supposed to look. Okay, by manipulating the contour using the contour editor. All right. You know, the stomach or the torso is not looking that straight, that circular, complete circle. It's not a complete circle, so we can try to match it up exactly the way it is on the artwork. You can try as much as possible to match it up from the way it looks or the way it is from the artwork. This character looks like a football, but you know, it's a cartoon, so you can just run wild with your imagination and come up with any design that you want according to how you imagine it. All right, so you are just limited by your creativity and imagination. Anything that you imagine, you can create it using Toon Boom and other animation softwares. You just have to imagine it. All right, so I'll continue designing this character, making it to fit in. Okay, I think I am satisfied with this. Okay, all right, so we can now draw in, maybe use our brush tool to draw in singlets. Okay, draw in the singlet. Okay, continue drawing the singlet. All right, can even come here and try and put some stripes, cloth stripes. All right, so I think this is okay. Okay, so I can now use my cutter and swipe, 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 and swipe, and swipe. Okay, so I can now come down and start creating my waist. I'll create maybe 3 more layers for the waist and the leg. Waist. Okay, so let us come down to the waist. Let us start drawing the waist from here, because this is where the waist started from. Now the waist is going to come before the torso, so that the waist will be able to cover the torso. Okay, so I'll continue drawing the waist, and I can make sure that when you are drawing this, that the waist is covering the torso very well, because if it's not covering the torso and you try to paint this torso with the color of a singlet and the waist is not covering it here, you'll be seeing it somewhere here, and if the torso is above the legs, it will make the character look awkward. Okay, so make sure that even if I draw this and it's not covering it, use your contour editor to manipulate it. But you can make use of your pencil to draw this, so that you can easily manipulate it after drawing to cover the line art of this torso you are seeing right here. So you can see that it is the waist is covering it currently. Okay, so I'll select and do my normal what, flatten, by clicking Ctrl Shift F. So this is my waist. I'll go ahead and create my upper leg left. Okay, upper leg left. And I'll start creating my upper leg left. Okay, start creating my upper leg left. Let me see how I can create this to match exactly. So you can just continue doing this until you get what you want. Okay, so let's say that I like this and I can continue creating it until, alright, maybe this is okay. So I can now use my stroke and cover up this area because I want this, the color of this leg to blend into this waist because they are wearing the same cloth, the same trouser. This is still the trouser up to this level, so I want the color to blend in with the color here. That is why I use stroke here, because if I draw a thick line here, it's sort of stroke, when I paint it you are still going to see that line and it's going to look awkward. Okay, so I'll use my selection tool and do my normal one, Ctrl Shift F to flatten. This I've finished with my upper leg left. I'll continue going down. Let me see whether this, okay, so I'll continue going down to the next drawing I created, and I'll name this lower underscore leg left, right? Okay, leg left. Okay, so I will create another layer, which I've done, rename the layer to lower leg left, and I'll draw my leg, my lower leg. See how we are going to draw this so that it will look good. Okay, so I'm trying to see how I can draw this so it will look the way I want. Okay, let's manage this. But of course, when you are designing your own character, you have to take your time. Okay, do your own character design carefully, especially if you are doing a professional character. If you are designing a professional character for a client or for a studio, maybe you are working in an animation studio and you're required to design a character, please make sure that you take your time and do it perfectly well. Okay, so let me see this guy right here. I am thinking of something because this fold is supposed to show, and by the time I draw this stroke here, this fold is not going to show. So I want to see how I can do that to be able to show the fold. Okay, maybe I'll draw it this way. But if I draw it this way, let's see. Okay, maybe I will cover the fold for now. Cover the fold. I can go back here, use my cutter. Okay, I've already merged it, that is why it's not cutting. Let me see whether I can do it manually. Okay, let's delete this and let's use our brush to delete this. If you want to reduce your brush, whether it's eraser or your brush tool, without going to the setting here to reduce minimum and maximum, just hold the O key and hold on your graphic tablet and start dragging it left or right. So I'm now reducing the minimum, as you can see, and if I release and start dragging again, this is the maximum. Okay, so the minimum the maximum. All right, so maximum, minimum. So I'm reducing it from there instead of going here. If you don't want to stress yourself going here, you can use that shortcut. So let me redesign this part. Okay, so we can close this up this way and use our selection tool, and close it up again, flatten it, then go back here and use our brush and try and put those lines like this. I think it's okay. Use our cutter and cut this, then use our brush, our select and Control Shift F. All right, so we can go ahead and create our feet. We can call this feet left, feet left. Okay, we can use our brush tool and draw. Okay, trying to get exactly what I'm looking for. All right, so you can close this thing off here and use our cutter and cut, then cut. For this cut tool to work, let me show you something. For this cut to work, the lines must be intersecting. If, for example, I draw this way and I needed to cut here and here, it's not going to work. It's going to cut both there and the whole line, and that's not what we want. So for this cut to work the way you want, it must overlap. The lines must overlap and intersect each other. This must intersect with this, must intersect with each other, so that it will cut and also cut here, cut there, and cut there. As you can see, this one is intersecting, as you can see, with this line, so that is why I was able to cut. Okay, so select and Control Shift F. Good. All right, we are through with our left leg. We can easily just do our normal copy and paste. So let's create 3 more layers by hitting this button. So we name this upper leg, right? Control C, Control V, then change it to right. Okay, then we can go to upper leg left and copy, Control C, go to upper leg right, Control V, then go to our 2 properties for selection and rotate it. Okay, we're not going to rotate it, by the way, so because both of them are turned in the same position, the same direction. Both legs are turned in the same direction, unlike the hands that are turned in the opposite direction. So we're not going to rotate them, but rather leave them that way. So I'll position this thing somewhere here. Then the next thing, go to our lower leg left, Control C, and paste it in the drawing, the new layer, Control V, then delete this LFT and put RGT. Then copy the layer, the drawing in the lower leg left, Control C, and paste it in the lower leg right, and shift it over, holding down the shift key to shift it in a straight line. Then go to lower leg right and shift this one to match up with the artwork of the lower leg right. Then the last thing, go to your feet left, select, Control C, we forgot to do this one, but no matter, Control V. Okay, then you shift it forward. It mustn't match up with your artwork, okay? Shift it forward. Then you can now rename this or copy from here, Control C, Control V, You delete left and put RGT. Wonderful. So I think we have come to the end of creating. Have we? Let's see. I don't think we have. Okay, but for now, let us leave this character this way for now and start talking about coloring. Okay, so we have finished creating this character the best way we can. Maybe with time we also talk about adding shadows to this character. Okay, adding shadows to this character. Now let's see how we are going to start applying colors to this character. So I am now on the nose layer, as you can see. So this is the nose. Before we can start applying color to this character, we have to create colors that will be used for this each part of this character, like the skin, the eyes, the cap, the singlet, the short. I forgot something. We didn't create the pupil, so let's create it immediately. So we can call this pupil underscore left, and we can just use our ellipse tool, which will be easier for us, because since the pupil is almost circular, you can just use the ellipse tool. And if we want to immediately fill in this line, we can just click on this button right here. Okay, you click it, autofill. So when you, after drawing this line, it will automatically fill it for us. So click it, and maybe we want the eye, the pupil, to have this kind of shape, oval shape instead of circular. We can fill it in, and we can even create a little specular, a little shiny specular that shows that maybe sun is reflecting on his eyes to make the eye look more beautiful or better, as you can see. And we can now simply select it, do a Ctrl C, go to this another new layer we created and Ctrl V, then go to the two properties and look for flip horizontal and flip it and move it over, holding shift to move in a straight line, and we have created the two eyes. And we can now copy this, the name of this, Ctrl C, and paste it here, Ctrl V, and change it from left to right, RGT. Okay, so I think we are through with designing, or rather creating, the line works for this character. So we'll start looking at how we'll organize colors, create and organize colors that we are going to be using to color this artwork. So let's start with white. We are not going to touch this black, because this black is what we use to create all these layers. So if we try to change the color of this black, it's going to change all the colors of these artworks. Let's see, what do we mean? We try and start putting this color to red. You can see that all the colors here change to red. This is not what we want. Any color you change it to is going to reflect on the artwork, because black is the color that we use to design the artwork. So let's leave it at the black it was, and let's not touch it. Let's start touching it from the red. Okay, so let's come to the red and change the color of the red. Maybe you want a skin color. If you know where to get your skin color, if you know your skin color, you can just move around that area and try to match it up. Maybe this guy, I want this guy to be a little bit dark. Okay, because he's an African, he's a black. I have to present your continent well. So I want this guy to be maybe dark like this, and you can call this skin. Okay, skin, and close it up. You can duplicate this skin. All right, you can duplicate it, so I can use it to create a shadow for the skin. Okay, so this skin, I can add another layer, and it will create exactly a new layer from this skin. But I want this one to be a shadow. I can click on it and hold it and drag it up below the skin, so it will be easy for me to organize. So I can double click on the color itself and bring this color a little bit darker, make it darker. This is the former color it was on, then this is the new color that it will show. So I will make it a little darker to reflect shadow. Then I can call this skin shadow. Alright, then close it up. Then come to the skin, start with the nose. Make sure you can be able to see your strokes. I can start adding more strokes. Maybe I want to add stroke underneath the nose, because if you check underneath your nose, you will see that there is supposed to be a little shadow that's supposed to appear there. Okay, so I can just use my change to my paint and color this skin, the nose, with a skin color. Then come to the skin shadow and paint this thing, give it a shadow just like that. Okay, and you go to the mouth. The mouth is already closed. We are going to still create other colors like the tongue, the gum, and the teeth as when the mouth starts to open. So we can come down to the waist. Maybe let's give the waist a color that looks like sky blue. Maybe it's not going to be that bright, maybe something like that. Okay, maybe let's give it a little bit of green like this. Then you can call this trouser. Okay, trouser. Sorry, I mistakenly changed. Okay, can call it trouser and paint it. Then we can also create, before we paint this in, let's also duplicate this color by hitting on this plus icon and bringing it up here. Alright, if you duplicate a layer, it's going to, if you duplicate a selected color layer, it's going to duplicate with exactly that same color on that layer that you duplicated from. So we want to create a trouser shadow, so we can call this trouser shadow, and we can bring the color picker down a little bit. Remember, you are looking at it here. This is your new color, this is your previous color, so let's not make it that dark, maybe around here. Then close it up, then go to our stroke and add a stroke of where the shadow is supposed to be, something like that. Then we can come to our paint and paint here, then go to trouser shadow and paint the shadow. Okay, so if I come out from my stroke view, you can see that it's already looking nice. All right, so you can do the same thing for the upper leg. Okay, so now for the upper leg, we're going to go to our stroke, and when you are trying to create a shadow, you have to make sure that it is matching the shadow of a layer, of a previous layer that is connected and close to it. The waist shadow is here, so we must make sure that when we are creating the shadow for this upper leg layer, that it should match up with the shadow here, which is from here. Okay, so let us rotate this so I can do it well. It's going to be from here. Okay, it's going to be from here, so it will look like it's blending in. The shadow is blending in from the waist to the upper leg. All right, okay, you understand? Okay, so you can now use our contour, snap on, and bring this down to snap. You can delete this, we don't need it. Okay, can delete this guy, and you can match up this area here. Okay, we can now come to our paint again and go to trouser, paint it in, and go to trouser shadow, paint it in. Okay, we can now do the same thing for the lower leg left, do a stroke, draw a stroke from here to match up the one from there to there. So you can draw a stroke. Of course, we have to draw the stroke this way, so it will look like these guys are folded. Then you can bring it here. I can close this area. Okay, so you can close it this way. Go to our paint bucket and color our trouser in, then color in our shadow, just that way. We can continue with our feet. So our feet is gonna have a pure dark color or pure black color. Now let's see. Okay, so this place is going to be dark, this other part is going to be a little bit brighter. So let's delete this blue color, use this vectorized line as the color of the shoe. Okay, we go to our stroke. Remember to be on your feet like this. Then we can put the stroke right here. Okay, and go back to your paint, add another layer, and this is going to be called the highlight of the shoe this time around, shoe highlight. Okay, because this one is going to be brighter than the dark color that we just changed to right now. Okay, so this guy is going to be brighter than this, so we use this and paint here, then come to this guy and bring it up a bit, then paint here. Okay, now we are going to do something. We are going to delete the layers on this side and copy these layers over to this side again. Okay, so that we don't have to start drawing the strokes and everything and doing everything again over there. Instead of that, we can just now copy this layer with the color and everything and shift it over to the other side. So let's do that. So the feet, you can select the feet, Ctrl C, go to the feet of the right, select it, delete it, all right, and Ctrl V, then move it over again. Okay, then come to the lower leg left, Ctrl C, come to lower leg right, select it, delete it, okay, and Ctrl V, then you move it over. Okay, then you do the same thing for the upper leg, Ctrl C, go to the upper leg right, select and delete, then Ctrl V, then move it over. Wonderful, good. Okay, so we are through with the waist down. Then we can come up and look for the next thing to do here. Let's see. Okay, let's go to the torso and add our strokes to the torso. So the torso strokes is going to be maybe from here, because this thing is round, so we are going to take it from all the way from here. Okay, it's still showing me that message because I'm not in my stroke visibility mode. So you just press K to see your strokes, and we can draw this. Okay, you can draw this and come here and draw this way. Okay, then we can come to our contour editor and start modifying some of these lines here to match exactly the way we want this thing to be. Okay, you can remove your snap to contour so that you'll be able to manipulate this thing better. So you start doing this way until you get what you want. You can delete this, I guess. You can come close here and snap this to this guy, and continue doing it until you get what you want. So you can come close to this place and snap it together. Wait, you have to snap it here so that we match up with this waist shadow. Okay, so you snap it up here to match this waist shadow. You can continue doing your own. Maybe you mustn't get exactly what I'm doing. You might even get a better result than this. Okay, so we match it up like that. Okay, so you can now go ahead and color. Let's first of all create a new color layer for the singlet. So I want the singlet to be something like yellowish white. So I can come around this yellow and between yellow and white, something like this, and call it singlet. Okay, and close it. Then maybe remove this one, then duplicate this one, then bring the color a little bit down to make it darker. Then you can call it singlet shadow. Singlet shadow. Then I can use my paint bucket, paint it in, and paint the shadow in. Okay, paint the shadow in. Okay, then this part, of course, we are going to use our skin, paint the color of our skin there, because this is a singlet, so it's going to paint. So this side I made a mistake here. So what I'm supposed to paint here is the skin shadow. Okay, skin shadow. All right, nice. Okay, so we can go ahead and come down to our neck, and we can just paint the skin shadow on our neck, because the neck is below the head, and since the head is covering the neck is supposed to have a shadow. Okay, so the sun is not hitting the neck that much to make it a little bit bright. So we can go to this part, upper arm right maybe, or let's see, we can start here. Let's see. Okay, we can create a skin stroke here to form shadow. Okay, go to your contour and connect it, then come to your paint the skin shadow and paint the normal skin, then come down to lower arm and do the same thing. Use your stroke, turn it, make sure that the stroke is matching with the shadow of the upper arm right. So just let us use our eyeball it. Okay, come to your contour, shift this thing closer down and snap it. Okay, then come back to your paint and paint the skin, then the shadow. All right, so come to our hand right and paint our skin. Okay, all right, so after doing that for this arm, let's see, we can come over to this arm and see whether we can do the same copy and paste. So Ctrl C, let's see whether it will work. Can delete this. Okay, then Ctrl V, then we can come down and flip it and move it over. Okay, move it over. So the only thing now The problem now is that the shadow is supposed to come towards this area, alright, towards this area instead of this area. So let's create a brand new stroke for this side. So we are not going to copy it. So let us make sure that we are trying to match up with the skin shadow of the layer below it, that is the torso. So we can go back to our paint the skin color and the skin shadow here, come down to lower arm left, okay, do the same thing, stroke, and try and match it up here, just the upper arm, not considering the torso, okay. Can try and match it up like that way. Then you go to your paint again and paint the skin shadow and the skin, then come to your hand and paint in the hand color, then continue going down, go to the face, and of course skin color. But before that also, let us create a stroke somewhere here, okay. Let's do it again. Alright, create a stroke somewhere there, then paint the skin and the skin shadow. Then the hair, what color are we going to make this hair? Let us make this hair maybe, okay, let's create a new layer and maybe make it black hair, okay. Let's make it black and paint it in, okay. So I'm thinking of putting stroke here to give the hair a little bit of highlight or light or brightness, anyone you wish to call it, maybe. But wait, it's true, I don't need to do that because the cap is going to cover it. So let's just paint it in like that, okay, because the cap is going to cover this hair. So you don't need the highlight or whatever on top of the head. So coming to the cap is going to be more complicated. So we are going to create like 3 or 4 different colors. Let's see how many colors we are going to do. Let's create 2 first. Give one red color. Let's call this one cap red, okay. Let's call this one, let's give this one something like blue color. Call this one cap blue, okay. Let's maybe give another color white. Call this one cap white. Maybe let's not give it that white, let's a little bit put it down somewhere here, okay. Let's start painting. As we paint, we will see whether we need more colors for this, okay. So I think we might need more colors. Let's paint this one red and blue, okay. I think this is okay. All right, so let's continue down, go to our ear and give it a color, that is skin color. We can put stroke here to show shadow in the ear. Can put some strokes there to paint in those areas with a shadow, okay. And go to our paint our skin, then go to shadow and paint the shadow. All right, so our brow is already painted with our black line art. Now go to your eye left. You can use your white as your eye color since the eye is always white. So I can just paint it in with our normal white color that we use to design this specular on the pupil. It doesn't matter. You can go to the next frame of eye left, that is next page of eye left containing a drawing, and paint in another white, then paint the skin shadow here. Okay, paint the skin shadow again, then paint the white and skin shadow. Okay, then do the same thing for this part of the eye, that is the eye right. Okay, continue doing it until you are through. All right, so this is our character. If we go to our camera view and we switch on to our transformation tool, you can see that the character has been designed, but they are not positioned correctly. They are not positioned correctly. In fact, they are scattered. They look very scattered. So all we need to start doing now is that we have to start positioning these characters correctly. We can go to our character design sketch and either hide it or we can delete it, but let's just hide it so we can focus on our main characters that we designed. So we can start positioning these characters by doing what we call parenting. So how do we do that? So we can start with pupil. You know that pupil is supposed to be in front. Yes, pupil, the two pupils supposed to be in front, and they are in front. The nose supposed to be in front at the top. Okay, the next thing, the mouth supposed to be, okay, let's leave the mouth here, it's okay there. Then we can come down. The cap and the ear and also the two brows and the two eyes are supposed to be higher than the face and also below the mouth. Wonderful. As you can see what is happening, right? We are getting there. So we can come to our face. It's just rearranging your layers the way they are supposed to be. That's all. Rearranging your layers the way they are supposed to be, so that by the time you are through rearranging them, they will now get back to how they are supposed to be. So let's go to the brow. The brow is supposed to be in front of the eye and the pupil, except the nose. All right. The ear. Where is the ear? The ear is supposed to be above the cap. Okay. You can see that our character is taking shape. Okay, so the neck supposed to be, where is the neck? The neck supposed to be above the torso. In fact, not only the torso, above every other thing below it, although they are not going to conflict with each other. Now when you are trying to move layers to their right position, you have to switch off your animation capability so that when you try to move layer to another position, it will not add a keyframe, because I want to move this leg so that it will fit in perfectly where it's supposed to be here. Okay, in between these two singlets. Okay, next. All right, so we can continue. All right, so we can continue designing moving layers to their right positions. Like this eye supposed to be above the cap, the two eye supposed to be above the cap. Okay, of course, but below the pupil, so we can move the two pupils above them. Okay, so you can see this is taking shape. You can move back this nose so it will not intersect too much with this eye. You can move it back to the position it's supposed to be by just clicking on it, on the nose itself, and moving it. Okay, so the next thing to do, come down here. Let us cross check and make sure that these layers are positioned correctly for the head before we come down and start checking that of our torso and body. Okay, All right. Okay, so now let us bring down this 4, this 5 down below the upper body, so it will be very easy for us to fix those areas. Okay, we will handle this later. So let's see the upper arm right. The lower arm right is supposed to be above the upper arm, and the hand is supposed to be above the 2. Okay, then we can come to the other side. Okay, so this 3 supposed to be above the torso. So where is the torso? This is the torso. Sometimes this thing can be hectic. Okay, so this is the torso. So we bring 3 of them in front of the torso by just highlighting one and using shift and holding shift and clicking to the extent by which you want to highlight. Then I highlighted the 3 of them and I moved it up above the torso so that they will come after, before the torso. They will be above the torso, as you can see. So the lower arm supposed to come above the upper arm, and the hand supposed to be above the lower arm, so that it will appear exactly this way. Okay, so we can come down to the waist. Okay, so the waist is supposed to be, of course, above the torso, as you can see here. All right, so let us shift our upper leg. Let's see our upper leg. Okay, this is our upper leg. Our upper leg and the upper leg left should be above the waist. Okay, above the waist, like that. And the lower leg left, where is it? Lower leg left should be, not the lower leg left, right? Okay, lower leg left should come above the torso too, but below, yeah, above the upper leg too. Okay, then the feet left should also come up, but not above the upper leg left. Okay, wonderful. Then we do the same thing for the other side. Let's just move everything up below the waist, of course. Okay, so we can move the lower leg above the upper leg, and we are almost done with this character. Then the next thing we have to do is called parenting. We have to start parenting this character so that, for example, when this eye move, this puppy is supposed to move with it. When this face move, every other content on this face is supposed to move with it, because it's not natural for this face to just move alone without any other thing following it. All of them is supposed to move with it. So we are going to use parenting and do that, so that when we select maybe the torso, when the torso moves, the other parts that are connected to the torso are supposed to move with it, like the 2 arms. Okay, so let's see how we're going to do that. So you can come to the nose. Okay, now let's start with the eye first. So the pupil supposed to be inside the left eye. So the way you do this is, when you click on a layer like this and it's highlighted in blue, you can hold it and drag it until you see the cursor turn something that looks like a rectangular symbol below it, and you can drag it inside another layer by pointing directly at that layer, like you can see I'm doing right now. Then you release. When you release, that layer is going to appear inside the layer you pointed it to. So this pupil is now a child of this eye. But see what happened. as I did that, it disorganized my arrangement. So it's simple. The way you can just do that is use Alt down arrow key or up arrow key, depending on the extent of the depth that layer is on. Now if you use Alt down arrow key, it will bring that layer that you pasted or you made a child of another layer to bring the layer in front of that layer that is the parent, if you use Alt down arrow key. But if you use Alt up arrow key, it will take the layer back, as you can see. So Alt down arrow key, holding Alt and pressing the down arrow key will bring the layer back in front. So we have parented the pupil to the eye left. So we parent the pupil right to the eye right by dragging it also to the eye right. Move it in here. It happened again. So make sure your cursor is pointed into your camera view when you are doing Alt down arrow key. So my cursor is in my camera view. So I make sure you highlight your pupil right, then enter your camera view and use Alt down arrow key to bring it back in front, as you can see. So let's see the next thing, the next layer that is supposed to be parented. So every other layer is not going to be parented. All right. Okay. Now the next layer that is supposed to be parented should be brow left, supposed to be parented to brow right. Okay. Brow right. Let me make sure that everything is okay in order. All right. So also brow right supposed to be parented to eye right. Okay, so that when I move this eye right, both the eye, the pupil and the brow will move with it. If I move this eye left, both the pupil and the brow will move with it, which is a bit more natural. So you can now highlight every other thing here, okay, on the face, and move all of them inside the face by dragging it and clicking on the face and releasing our mouse. You can see what happened again. Everything disappeared. Some moved to the back, some retained their position. Now let's start moving them back again to where they are supposed to be. Starting with the nose, you can use your Alt down arrow key to bring it forward. Your eye left, Alt down arrow key to bring it forward. Your eye right, Alt down arrow key to bring it forward. Your mouth, Alt down arrow key to bring it forward. Your ear, Alt what? Down arrow key, and your cap, Alt down arrow key. Wonderful. Okay, so we can now close this face to give us more space in this layer panel, and we can go to our neck. I think our neck is supposed to be part of the head. What do you think? No, this neck is not supposed to be part of the head. Okay, let us parent this neck to the torso. So we will first of all carry this upper leg and the other ones that are below the waist and parent them to the waist. Okay, do the same thing for this lower leg right to fit right. Highlight one, shift and highlight the last one you want to highlight, and also drag them inside the waist like that. As you can see, everything has changed the way it's supposed to be. So all you need to do is start repositioning them again, starting with this guy. So now we have to parent this guy with this guy and this guy, so that when this guy moves, these two will move with it, and when this guy moves, this one will move with it, because it's not natural that this guy will move and this one will not follow, or this guy will move and these two will not follow. So let us do that. Since we have already parented these legs and feet to the waist, it will be easier for us. So let's just parent this feet to the lower leg, okay, and parent this upper leg, and parent this lower leg that you parented with the feet, okay, parent this lower leg you parented with the feet with the upper leg, like that. Okay, so we can now come to our lower leg, okay, and bring it forward. As you can see, if I now try to move, both of them are moving, but if I click on the feet only, it is only moving on its own, just like it's supposed to be. But if I click on both of them, they are moving together, and if I click on this upper feet right, all of them will follow along if I move it, which is how it's supposed. Even if I rotate it, okay, they are going to rotate together. All right, so if I also rotate this guy, they are going to rotate together. All right, as you can see. Okay, now the next thing to do, let's do the same thing for lower leg left and upper leg left and the feet. So we move this lower leg left, lower feet into the lower leg left to parent it, then move the lower leg left into the upper leg left to parent both of them inside it. Then you can now use your Alt down arrow key to bring both of them forward. Okay, now also this left leg should be in front of this right leg, is it not? Okay, so we have to click on the upper leg left, and since the upper leg left is now a parent of both the lower leg left and the feet, as you can see the hierarchy like that inside the layer panel. So that means that anything that I move, if I highlight my upper leg, it's going to highlight both the upper leg, the lower leg, and the feet, because lower leg and the feet are children of this upper leg, as you can see from the layer panel. So I can now move this thing forward by using Alt down arrow key to move it forward, so it is now in front instead of at the back, which is what it's supposed to be. Okay, so we can now cross check and make sure this part is set, and I think it is set. Okay, we can now move over to our upper arm. We can now move this hand and make it a child of this lower arm, is it not? Good. Then move this lower arm that the hand is a child of already into the upper arm to make both of them children of this upper arm, as you can see. Okay, now all we need to do is to reposition them. Let's enter into the hand, highlight it, and use Alt down arrow key. Okay, make sure you are pressing the right button, down arrow key, okay, to bring it forward again. Then click on your lower arm. As you can see, both of them are now moving. Click on your lower arm and use your same Alt down arrow key to move it forward. Then I think both of them are set. Then you can move around this anyhow you want. Okay, so but let's do the same thing with the other side. So let's move this hand right and make it a child of this lower arm right. Then move this lower arm right and make it a child of this upper arm right. Then you can now bring this hand in front by Alt down arrow key, and bring this lower arm in front by Alt down arrow key. Okay, now this torso is at the back of this hand, but we'll fix that later. So let's see, let's finish with this. Then this torso will come up here. Okay, let's leave this torso here. Then let's highlight all this arm and bring it back, take it back, okay, like that. Then we can bring this somewhere here to make it look more realistic, as in so. Okay, let's all right, this is okay. All right, so The next thing to do is to move all these two inside the torso, because the torso should be a parent of both the left arm and the right arm. As you can see, I moved it and everything changed from the way it's supposed to be. So I'll move it back up. As you can see, I'll check this one. Okay, so I think we are through with positioning our characters in their right places. Let us not forget to move the neck into the torso to make it a child of the torso. Then we can now move it in front. Okay, then it's now a simple matter of highlighting the face to move everything in front of the neck, like so. Shikina. So we are now through with designing our character and positioning them in the right places they are supposed to be. So the next thing we are going to look at is how to create pivot points for this character, for each layer of this character, to reflect on how this character is supposed to rotate and move when they are being animated. So let us see how we can do that. Let us start with the face. Okay, so for you to position or put a pivot character, what I mean by this is that if I click on this face and I start to rotate it, well, I think it's rotating well somehow, but I want this face to rotate from a pivot point somewhere here. Okay, this face is currently rotating from the middle here. From here you can see that square dot in the middle of this transform 2. You can see this square dot. That is where this face is rotating from. Okay, let me highlight this arm and show you. Okay, sorry, I mean the face is rotating from this circle, not this dot. Sorry, my mistake. It's rotating from this circle right here. Okay, and if you rotate this one, it's also rotating from this circle right here. But we want this circle we want to create this circle as a pivot exactly where they are supposed to rotate from. For example, this arm, when you are rotating your upper arm, is rotating from here. Is it not so? You can try it out and confirm. It's rotating from here, and your lower arm should rotate somewhere from here. You can also try it out and confirm. The same thing with your wrist. So we are going to create pivot points at the proper position to mimic real life joints, where real life joints are supposed to be. So we are going to start with the face, and let us enter into the face and see the content of the face, because we are going to create pivot points for each of the layers. So starting with the first one, which is the nose. To create a pivot, you have to click on this pivot icon. That is the icon that will allow you to create pivots. So you can click on that icon and place our pivot. So when you click on that icon and click on your artwork, you can click anywhere on the canvas, a pivot will be placed at that exact location you click on the canvas. But we want this pivot, if you click and start dragging it, will start dragging the pivot around. But we want to create the pivot somewhere here. Okay, for the nose, you can go to the eye left and enter into the eye and create for the brow. We want the brow to be rotating from somewhere, maybe somewhere here. You can create it, put the pivot there, click on the eye, put the pivot in the middle somewhere here, then click on the eye itself and place a pivot somewhere here. Then close up this left eye, open the right eye, do the same thing for the brow of the right eye, click on the pupil right, place a pivot somewhere here. Then you can also do the same thing for the eye right. Alright, you can also do the same thing for the eye right. Then you close it up. Okay, then you go down and put a pivot for the mouth, maybe somewhere here. You go to the ear, put a pivot somewhere here for the ear. Go to the cap, put a pivot somewhere here for the cap. So that, let me show you an example. If I start rotating this cap, it will rotate from that pivot point, from that place that I placed the pivot. I put the pivot, which was here, as you can see. Okay, or you can put it here if you want to. Let us try this rotation and see I think the other side was better. Okay, so we can continue going down. Can go down to the waist. Okay, waist, enter into the upper leg, and enter into the upper leg, and also feet. Place a pivot for the feet here, so that when it rotates, it's going to rotate from there. Okay, good. Place a pivot for the lower leg somewhere here. When you place your pivot, it's advisable to test it out, okay, to see how it's going to work. Okay, I think it will work perfectly well like this. All right, place another one here, somewhere here, for the upper leg. This upper leg will control everything from the lower leg to the feet. Okay, wonderful. Then you can start coming up, close this one, and go to this left leg, go to the feet, place a cursor, a pivot, go to the lower leg, place another one, test it out, go to the upper leg and place. All right, test it out. Okay, so you now place for the waist, you place another one for the waist, maybe around here, so if you rotate, to rotate everything, as you can see. Although the waist might not end up rotating with time, maybe we will see about that. You can also kind of like skew it. All right, so the next thing is to go down to the torso, open up the torso, and start placing more pivots, starting with the neck. Place it somewhere here. Let's test it out. Okay, go to the upper arm right, open it up, hand right, and place your pivot somewhere here, taking note of where the joint of the body is supposed to be in. All right, where the joint in the body is supposed to be positioned. So that is what we are doing right here. Okay, the upper arm, place it somewhere there, maybe somewhere here. The reason why this thing moved is that there was a movement before. I moved this whole right arm when I was trying to position it where it was. So immediately I placed that pivot, it kind of like positioned back to its default position. All right, before I made that move, I made before placing that pivot there. Okay, all right. So the next one we'll do is the left arm. So we go down to the hand and place our pivot here, somewhere here, and rotate. Okay, go to the lower arm, place another pivot, the lower arm, also rotate. Okay, then go to the upper arm and place pivot there, and also rotate to make sure that this is okay. All right, so I believe that we are through with everything that has to do with rigging, character design, rigging, and every other thing for this character. So we can go ahead and delete our sketch layer because we don't need it any longer. So before we start animating this character, we'd have to create more mouth shapes for this character, and also let us not forget the eyes. I just placed a pivot for the first drawing of the eyes, but what about these other drawings? There are no pivots there. You can see that if I start moving over to other pages or other frames, that the pivot came back here. The pivot was only fixed for the first drawing, So it's simple. Go to the first drawing of example layer 3, of example I layer, that is I left layer. The first drawing that you position the pivot properly, just right click on that frame, okay, copy cells from timeline. So what this copy cells from timeline does is that it will copy the positioning of your pivot and every other animation or keyframe that was placed in this first frame. It will copy it over to other frames that you paste it on. So you copy cell from timeline, go to the next frame, which is this, right click and paste special, just highlight update drawing pivot. What it does is that it will update or create a new drawing pivot in your next drawing exactly where you place the first drawing pivot. If you click on OK, you see that the drawing pivot for the first drawing is exactly the same for the second drawing from this circle you are seeing here, right? So you go to the third drawing. Since you have already pasted, you can request to paste again by right clicking and say paste special again. Do the same thing here, paste special again. Then go to the right eye, and this is right eye. This is where the pivot for the first drawing is. You have to do what again? Right click on the first frame, then copy cells from timeline, go to the next frame, right click and paste special. Not again. If you click paste special without if you click paste special again, it's going to paste the one here instead of the one here. Okay, so you now have to enter and make sure this thing is at update drawing pivot. I cannot be able to click the OK here, so I need to move it to my other screen, half of it, so that I can click OK. Then you do the same thing here, paste special again, then paste special again. Alright, so now we want to extend all our other layers to frame 60. Okay, we want to extend all the other layers to frame 60. We want to make these pages to cover all the way to frame 60. So if we come to face, or we can just toggle this to show only face, so that we can easily move over all the other layers inside the face without doing it one by one here. You can just click on the face layer itself and press F5. Okay, once you press F5, it's going to move over everything. Okay, it's going to move over everything like this. Alright, so we are going to see how we will make the eye to only appear in this white area and close with the white area without coming out like this. Okay, do the same thing with the waist. Go to the waist, click at the last page or the last frame of the waist and do what? F5. The same thing with torso, click on it and do what? F5. Good. So we are done with this. The next thing that we are going to see how we are going to create is we are going to create more mouth shapes. Let us not extend the exposure of mouth, okay, because we are still going to create more pages, different drawings of this mouth to show this character moving his mouth when he's talking. All right, so let us click on this last frame, hold shift and click on the second to the first frame, except the first frame, because the first frame will still hold this mouth shape that we drew earlier in the lesson. So we click on this and click the second to the first frame to highlight everything except the first frame, and hit just the delete key to delete everything like this. So our onion skin is still on, so that is why I'm able to see the red outline of the layer, the previous layer, okay, which is the first the previous frame, which is the first frame containing this drawing. Okay, so I'll switch off my onion skinning. So there is just one layer here. If I move to the next layer and to the next frame, to the frame 60, I'm not going to see it again except on frame 1. Okay, so we want to create more drawings for this mouth. That is why I deleted other frames or other pages except page 1 or frame 1. So we can save our work. Remember that you have to do automatic saving. Make sure you enable it so that your work will be saved every at least 10 or 20 minutes, or the number of times that you decide to put it on, so that your work will be automatically saved maybe if Toon Boom crashes, you can be able to continue from where you stopped, because it can be stressful and frustrating after doing all these things and reaching to this extent and your Toon Boom crashes. Oh my god, you have to start afresh, and it can be very frustrating. So I strongly recommend that you enable autosave and put it to 10 minutes. Okay, so it will be saving faster. As you can see, that dialog box that used to appear, each time it appears, I'll click yes. It is asking me whether I want to save. So I will have to click yes every time it asks me that. It is very, very important. So in the next lesson, we are going to finish drawing more of these mouse shapes. Okay, and which other thing? Okay, after drawing the mouse shapes, we start jumping into the network view, which is this, and we will start seeing how to use the network view, how to manipulate the content of the network view. The network view, what we are seeing here is the same thing with what we are seeing right here. Okay, the same thing with everything here is the same thing that we see right here. But we can see how we can start to make use of the network view in our next class.